G'day YouTubers, Was here. Okay, we're back down at Pro Cycle Dynos. So previously with the 2016 MT-10 or FZ10, we have put a Woolich race tune in this and a custom map, a few other odds and ends, which we've discussed in previous videos. But today we're looking at the new Quickshifter. Now, as you know, the 2017 models have a revised map on these MT-10s, and it has a Quickshifter standard from Yamaha. So that was an option, but with the Woolich race tune, I've got extra race tools with that, which Fred is going to go through with you when we put in the Woolich Quickshifter. So I have up and down, as well as a few other odds and ends that he'll go through with you. So I'm looking forward to this. It's been 2 months, he's a very busy boy, and here we are ready to go again. So cheers, let's do it. Alright, so let's get down to the nuts and bolts of it all. Here's our little Woolich shifter set up in there. We're just getting ready with the bits and pieces. Now we put it upside down instead of down the bottom. Down the bottom, it's gone up here just to keep it out of the way of the weather and everything. Alright, so here's our ECU. We previously custom mapped that. Now, if you're going to get it custom mapped from anywhere, it should have a sticker on it, so that if you're going to say just get a regular service, they know that. So right now, as you previously know, we've done this Woolich tune, custom map and ECU flash. Fred here, thank you Fred.
How are you?
Appreciate it.
Good man.
Alright, so Fred here is going to run through it with us.
So what we've done now is we've added a race tools package. So the race tool package gives you a few extra features. We have Quickshifter, which it's got the ability to do up and down shifting. So we can set the shifter up in a normal shift pattern, which is configured here.
Yep.
Or you can set it up in race pattern if you wanted to run a race like a track shifter, so you kind of press down the gear lever to go up.
Yep, so all that is, all that is just swapping
that around 180 degrees.
Around, yep,
so you'll spin it the other way, so it does the opposite of what it normally would.
So that would take a little of getting used to.
Yeah, that's right. I don't sort of recommend it to a novice because you could go over the bars in a real hurry. So right, we've set this up. So basically, we're going to enable everything in the Quickshifter features. So we've got the Quickshifter with auto blip. So that means we can set that now. So when you want to come back into a corner, you can just click down on the gear lever, and it will rev the engine for you and kick it back a gear. Okay. So it's a lot of guys love this feature because it's cool as. Like, it does take a little bit of getting used to if you've been riding a bike for a while, because the first thing you do is clutch in, give it a rev, and kick it down. This, you don't need to do it, so ultimately will make you faster.
I noticed when I rode the R9, it had the auto shifter, but I forgot to use it. Yeah, right. So it just takes a bit of getting used to all this stuff, doesn't it?
Well, it does get a bit, especially with not pulling the clutch in and backing the throttle off when you go up gears. Yeah. So that's another feature as well, but it works great. The other thing we're adding in here is we've got launch control. So with the launch control feature, I'm probably going to knock it down a little bit, so it's at the moment it's defaulting at 8,000 revs. We're going to pull it down to 7,500, so we're still going to have a bit of RPM on board. So what that means is, when you go into launch control, you'll pull a clutch in. You'll need to clutch in for like a couple of seconds so it knows it's in launch control mode, and then basically you can hold the throttle flat. The bike will just stay at whatever RPM we've got it set at. So at the moment we're going to start at 7,500. So obviously you treat it gingerly on the first launch, but what you'll then do is you can basically hold the throttle flat and semi-slip let the clutch out. So it will hold the bike at that RPM till the bike sees a certain amount of wheel speed, which we can control that adjustment on here on the release speed. So we've got a launch RPM, we've got launch control delay, and we've got the release speed. So it needs to see, at the moment it's on 25 kilometers an hour before it will start letting you come off that 7.5.
Okay.
So
and
you
it
might
can
find
be
you
any
want
mode,
more.
any traction mode,
That's right, any traction
including
mode.
non-traction.
That's right, yep. So it has traction control feature. All that stuff will still work as well.
Yep.
So that'll all help you in turn. It's got a lot of gear on it to help you basically
So I
get
just
fast off the line.
need to get a really loud pipe and find a tunnel with lights and rev bomb everyone.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You just pull it on the launch.
Yeah. Okay. Good job.
So we're going to set that up. We're going to enable all that. We then have to reflash this into the ECU.
Yep.
We've got your original fuel map that we wrote for you in there, so we really don't need to go back on the dyno again. It's just a matter of flashing that in there and going for a test ride and make sure all that works.
Yep.
If you were sussing anything, you could rerun on the dyno again to make sure the map was the same, but it will be fine. It always works well.
And the speed limiter was the last thing. If
that's pit speed limiter. So that's more designed for an out-and-out track bike. So it comes normally with a switch that you put on your handlebar. So when you're on, you flick your switch and it'll make the bike hold at whatever we set that pit speed limit at.
Yep.
So it's basically like another rev limiter or another speed limiter to keep you going from overspeeding in a pit lane if you're coming in at a race meet.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
pretty
So
well.
that's not something we really need.
Yep. So now we're just going to tune it in, and we'll get back to you when we're on the tune in process. All right.
Yep.
Thank you. Yep.
So we've got all that set now. We've saved that race tools function. We've enabled all those features in there. So basically now we're just going to go to ECU and we're going to go right ECU and set that up. So it's going to ask me if I want to save it, which yes we will. We'll change the time of that. And that will now go through and it'll rewrite that ECU.
And that's it.
Away we go. You should see in a second, if all goes to plan, we'll have a green slider bar go across the bottom of the screen.
It doesn't take long, eh?
No, it's not a long process. The software's great, works very well, very fast. Here we go. So it's going to write that map into that ECU. You can see there on the decan logbox, it's actually flashing, so it's green and the red lights are alternating there. And that's telling us everything's working okay. That shouldn't take long, it's already at 25%, so it'll flash
check that
its way
out
through.
shortly.
We'll then put the ECU back on.
I don't know how going.
It's alright, it doesn't matter, it doesn't really matter too much anyway.
So, all right, we've cleared everything, set it all up. All nice and neat. Now, when you turn the ECU on, there'll be a whole heap of fault codes. So you need to turn the ignition on your bike.
That's just because we're basically, when we bench flash something, we power it up, power the ECU up to write the ECU, but obviously we haven't got the main harness connected, so everything else that's connected to it will throw up a fault light.
Yep.
So basically, whenever you bench flash something, especially with these, we go through and we turn the key on, we'll go into this diagnostic mode, we'll go clear fault codes.
So we had 6 or 7 fault codes. I just forgot to turn the camera on. That's it. One last question, Fred.
Yep.
The difference, why would people use a Woolich race tune on a newer bike versus a Power Commander? That's a couple of customers or a couple of people have asked me that.
With anything, like a Power Commander is a great product also, but a Power Commander is a piggyback system. So what that means is a Power Commander will interrupt your standard fuel injectors. It runs between your stock ECU and your stock injectors, and it reinterprets the signal coming out of the ECU. So they work really well. They're, as I said, a piggyback style system. A lot of the stuff we find now, because our bikes have progressed so much further now and have a lot more emission control and things that we need to almost turn off in the ECU, because it affects Power Commander tuning with your low, your closed loop area, what works a lot of emission sort of setup.
And exhaust is one of them where you've got those sensors in there.
Yep, that's right, O2 sensors. So we
which
want
you turn off.
Yeah, we want to disable those through the ECU, like we showed you when we initially did it. We'll disable those through the ECU. We've got some advanced settings in that system, so we can go through and we can disable top speed limiters, exit valve setup, O2 control system. We can disable the fuel cut, and we can disable the AOS, the pair valve. So we can flash all that into the ECU, which saves you a lot of headaches type deal. We can go through and write our mapping, it won't change.
So
there's
older
no influence
bikes,
on it.
a Power Commander would work well on an older bike with less settings on it.
Yeah, a Power Commanders still work well on all bikes, but it's just that you lose some of the ability to be able to get around O2 sensor controlled areas. Some things you have to run a thing called an O2 optimizer in with that system, so it still leaves the O2 sensor in play a little bit because we can't plug an eliminator in and turn them off. A lot of bikes you can put eliminators in, just get rid of it, but a lot of the Yamahas and things we find have to run this O2 optimizer style setup. So
Well,
this way it works better for what you're doing.
Well, there it is. We just need to put it together and run it now.
Yep. So
Thank you very much.
No worries, right?
Appreciate it again, Fred. Okay, so this is going to be how...
We're going to test your launch mode.
Yep.
So basically, you're in first gear, we're going to clutch in for 2 or 3 seconds initially, and now we've set this launch control to hold the bike at 7,500 RPM. So we can pull the throttle on flat, and obviously we're not going to let it go because we're in a workshop and on a bench, but we pull the throttle on, and then it'll just hold her at 7.5.
Yeah.
There you go.
You're off. Thanks a lot, Fred.
Yeah, man.